So, let me see, 4:30. I don't know, start one of these. Cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome to Wayne's World.
That's what we're calling it?
I guess it's Wayne's World now.
That's perfect.
So I got my apple juice, you got your Paps, we're rocking, we're rolling.
That's
Here's
true.
my friend Chad. I've known him for a few years at least, something or other.
Yeah, like since 2015.
We both look the same. I have the scruff to embrace this interview. And I just want to sit down and bullshit with my friends. This is my new podcast I'm messing with. I don't really have like a name for it, unless it's going to be called Wayne's World. That might be a copyright issue. But I just want to sit down and bullshit. You're on a new MTV show. What's it called?
Yeah, so the show is called Too Stupid to Die. It's basically just my friends and I trying to do stunts and building things and just doing stuff that we aren't capable of and seeing how that goes.
Are we allowed to show anything of that stuff like on here? Is that okay? Like something
Yeah, absolutely. We have I mean, you can definitely check it out on Instagram, but you can.
What about what happened yesterday? Tell us about that.
Okay, yeah. So, like, it's so funny because it's like after I did it, I was like, a boy gets to live his dreams. Well, because I wanted to do it for so long. But yesterday, we did a tack stomp, and okay, so I rode a skateboard up to a stair set and jumped over the stair set onto a skateboard full of tacks and rode it out like completely. And yeah, man, I wanted to do that for like a year.
Was there any like amount of tacks that were strategically placed on the board, or how do you even like lay out a stunt like that?
So, like, we made sure it was over the bolts of the skateboard.
Right.
Because like that's how you
gotta
land bolts, right? Yeah. And then after that, we just make it like a little wide, like a little bit wider to make sure that so it's like a whole strip over the bolts. That way you have some some wiggle room. That way, you know, if you don't land bolts, you're still gonna get feet full of tacks, and it's gonna look really good. So, but luckily, I totally got bolts. Downside, I like my back foot landed just slightly before my front foot.
Yeah, nobody caught as many on that.
Yeah, and those tacks like flew everywhere.
Okay.
And it was cool though. No skaters. We did it at the LA Courthouse, which is like an iconic skate spot. And nobody was really mad. If anything, there was actually just people checking it out.
So there was onlookers hanging out.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And then we had like a couple people like older, like working type, like walking by, like staring at us, and it was really funny. But
they probably didn't even know there's tacks on the board.
I was on the ground picking them out of my feet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they probably didn't. They had no context.
Just some other dude at the courthouse picking at his feet on the floor.
yeah, right. Like
does he want my money? I don't have any spare change. So with that being said, like, do you feel that pain like hit initially, or is it something where it's like you don't know until like what is that like?
Yeah, definitely not like initially. I'm like so like zoned in on what I'm doing. I just want it to be successful and look good. And then like as soon as like the shot is like, well, not the shot, but as soon as that is over and I wrote it out and like fell on the ground, then I'm like, then it's hitting me. So ride it for like 5 seconds, then definitely feel it. Yeah.
That's fucking insane. So when you told me about this idea, this Too Stupid to Die TV show, Dealio, you didn't give me much context about it because it was under wraps for so long. How many years in the making has this even been?
Well, I mean, my friends and I, they had started a stunt crew long before I was involved, and then Too Stupid to Die itself, we had been doing stunts on YouTube for like 6 months, and then it got picked up with a company called from a production company called Gunpowder and Sky, and then they shopped the pilot around, and now we're with MTV. Yeah,
that's crazy. So what's it like? I mean, I have to address this because being a stunt fucking crew, it's gonna be asked immediately. But do you feel like you're in the shadow of a thing like Jackass? What is that scenario like? Like you guys, they definitely have their own thing going. But if you're not knowing, the first thing you think of is like, oh, Jackass. From me seeing it, I think it's like this generation's Jackass, and it's in a way that is, it's kind of edited in a way for today's generation. It's quick, it's snappy, shit's moving, shit's going. Different personalities, it's not the same thing at all. But is there like a rivalry? Is there a competitive nature? What is that What is that like coming after Jackass?
Yeah. I would say it's pretty incredible to even be compared to them. That like the fact that like anybody tries to say that or like in any way is pretty awesome. I'm not even mad about
You made it.
Yeah, like hey, you were being compared to the people that were the best at it.
Yeah.
You know, because there was a lot of stunt crews that nobody knows about, and like it's funny. Like Dirty Sanchez was also on MTV at the same time that Jackass was existing.
What was that? Like
It's a stunt show, but it was like more backyard style. Like it was also more deliberate. Like I would say like self-mutilation where like somebody would put their face on or like their lip on a table and somebody would nail their face to a board. Like that was Dirty Sanchez. That was on the same, and then that was on the same as at the same time as MTV as Jackass. Okay. And then you had Dudesons right after that, and Johnny Knoxville produced that. But I guess to get to your question, like at the core of it, like I don't necessarily feel, we're just so different, and we're from YouTube. Where they came from like Big Brother and magazines and skateboarding, we came from straight up doing stunts. Like we didn't have really a
production behind you. You guys were doing just to do it.
Yeah, we were just doing it just to do stunts. Well, and like this is the thing too is like Jackass had like it was like a bunch of like it came out of skateboarding and like without the internet. And that's amazing. That's an amazing time to be alive. But we came out of YouTube, and it's kind of a different era, and that like kind of sets a different stage altogether.
Okay, that's crazy. So there's a whole nother world. So when I met you at the APP conference. How, like 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago?
Like it was like 2015, I think, or 2014. I can't remember.
That makes more sense. Yeah. So that makes sense why. So I've only got to hang out with Chad like in Vegas at the APP conference. If you guys aren't aware of that, it's the Association of Professional Piercers Conference and Exposition. Piercers go and take classes that pertain to body piercing, and they buy a bunch of jewelry, and mostly they hang out and get drunk and get weird in Vegas with a bunch of weird looking people that week. Everyone thinks the tattoo convention's in town, but that's not the case. And I don't remember.
That's always funny.
Yeah, it's not like like the piercing side of APP is the last thing I think about when I think of the conference. The conference isn't APP like
for me.
It's just like an excuse to hang out with you.
Right. Yeah. Like it's like an excuse to like see all your best friends. Yeah. But yeah, no, I don't know. I was like sort of wandering. I'm pretty sure it had to be my first year because I was just wandering, talking to like anybody that would talk to me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like I was like
I'm there with my apple juice, really approachable.
And yeah, man, you just happened to be one of the guys that was like nice enough to like kind of like hang out with me and like show me what was going on and like. But yeah, that was like my first year into piercing, and
that's crazy. I had no idea.
Yeah. Well, like.
And you were out of the Midwest at that time?
Yeah, it was like so like everybody in the show and like whatever, it's all based out of Indiana, and yeah, I lived in Indiana for most of my life.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So was that your first time kind of dabbling into the West Coast?
That was my first time flying.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you like flying? Is it gnarly? What's it like for you?
I used to really enjoy it. Now it's just like.
A burden?
It's a huge like. It's just like it's just. I just want to land. I don't have any anxiety or anything. No anxiety. I just like kind of get on, and then like now the pressure does this weird thing to me where I like once we hit like full elevation, I get like really sleepy, and it's like
that's common.
Like an uncomfortable like knockout sort of thing.
Huh.
But yeah, it was my first time flying. It was my first time like being on the West Coast. It was my first time to conference. Wow. You know, it was my first time meeting all these people that I've seen on the internet like you know, and yeah, it's
like a really like small world like altercation. Like when you see all these people on the internet, you're like, whoa, he's way fatter. Whoa, he's way shorter. Whoa, she's way taller.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of weird seeing these like profile thumbnails in real life.
Yeah, I feel the same way about like celebrities. Uh-huh. Like you see these people on like TV, and now being like, I wouldn't call myself a celebrity, but just being on TV.
Right.
Like I've been watching the show with people.
Yeah.
And like we're having a viewing party. Okay. They know like people from Too Stupid to Die we're watching it in a living room.
Okay.
And I'll be sitting next to somebody and they're like, oh, that guy's so funny. And you're like, I fucking hate that guy. And I'm like, I'm that guy. But they won't even recognize that I'm the same person. And it blows my mind a little bit more, I think, because like
maybe this show's just
my face is tattooed.
So engaged. Maybe they're not even like, I mean, you want them to be looking at that and not over at you anyways, right? So
Yeah,
that's a good problem to have.
Yeah, maybe so, but it's kind of like, it's just that's kind of like a weird thing that happens. Yeah.
Right. That's crazy. Trip out.
Right, because I'm right here.
Yeah.
It's like if we were looking at a picture of you, and like it was just a photo, and I was like, oh, that guy's good looking, and you'd be like, well, that's me. Yeah. So thanks.
I've never so I kind of ask that question here and there, but it seems like from what I've seen, at least, well, from what others have seen and told me regarding YouTube and things like that, people don't really seem surprised by anything about me. And I think maybe it's just, maybe those people are paying attention. There's tons of content, seeing at tons of different angles. You can't hide my belly or my size.
You have a lot of content out, and I think that, you don't really...
Because right now you only have like 4 episodes on the air. How many episodes are...
Yeah, 3, and we are... Well, yeah, 3. Our 4th episode is... The 4th episode is this Friday, MTV, 9:30, 8:30 Central.
More airtime, the more accurate you'll be depicted, I suppose.
Yeah,
right.
The
one thing...
No, you're right. Yeah. Like, because we're going back to like the whole like meeting people on social media, and you see somebody in person, and like, there's some people that angles do a lot for with photos. Where you meet them in person, you're like, you are not even who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's like, I wonder if people aren't gonna be able to recognize you because they only see you laughing or hurt or crying.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
you normal faced is like foreign.
Yeah. That would make some sense actually.
Yeah.
Never really thought of it that way.
Yeah, because when you're sitting there watching the premiere, you're sitting there just watching the premiere. You're not like picking tacks out your feet at the courthouse.
Yeah.
It's a different scenario.
Right. Yeah, and there's a whole thing of like you never know how people are really seeing you or like what are they even seeing when they watch the show? It's all like perspective, you know. And
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't really control what people's opinions or perceptions are of you on the other end. You just got, especially when you're putting yourself out there, you got to put it out there, and it's out there. You know
right,
what I mean?
man. Yeah.
Like, I always thought that way. Like when I first started getting tattooed and pierced and things like that, I thought that my intentions were obvious because they're obvious to me. So I'd be getting this thing, and I thought it spoke for itself. I wasn't ready for other people to speak on like you know what I mean? Like for example, I'll give you a good one. I had a tattoo on my neck. I had like a crossed out swastika, like an anti-line.
Oh, me too.
Yeah. So I had that, and I had Oi behind my other ear. To me, it was like Oi, like unity, respect, punk rock, anti-fascism. I thought I was getting like, and my intentions I thought were obvious, but I would get asked daily if I was racist, if I was a racist symbol. I would get asked if I used to be racist.
Isn't that insane?
And to me, it's like, but like common sense isn't so common sometimes, and I can't like expect people. People are dumb, and you have to take them for what they are.
Yeah.
I just like. Yeah. Over time, I think that simple is best, less is more. And with my tattoos, like I would rather have, like even my forehead, right? Like you want every word because it's so meaningful. It's like young till I die would mean just as much instead of I'm gonna stay young until I die.
What was your I know this is a silly question, but like what was your first tattoo?
I got a big straight edge tattoo on my lower stomach, like 3 varsity X's.
Okay.
And even that. Okay, so
people thought you were into porn.
Totally. And so and to me, it's like it's obvious. You know what I mean? But it's like I'm a part of the subculture, and I want to be different, and I'm in this little fucking niche. And when people aren't in my niche, I just fucking want a bitch. Like how do I? Who am I to assume that they're in the know? I got it because they weren't in the know, and I complain because they're not in the know. I want to be different, but I don't want to be ridiculed for being different. It's the fucking struggle I live with daily.
Yeah,
that is normal. Interesting. You know what I mean?
But like, it is funny how like the straight edge symbolism and like symbol for alcohol and porn also like cross over. That's like, true. How are they all the same? Like
maybe we're all the same. Whoa, hey-o. No, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know. I guess
you just think like, okay, so like the person that invented that at first, like the X is on an alcohol bottle. Maybe that's like the.
Do you know why the X came about with straight edge?
Well, this is what I was about to say, and I don't know, but like maybe it was like the only thing that I could find to like make sense of it was like, hey, we're gonna make 3 X's as a rebellion.
I'll
sort
blow
of
your
like.
mind to make it simple for you. Ready?
Yep.
All right, so. A lot of shows like...
Oh, yeah, hardcore kids getting X's on their hands.
No, but why? shows a lot more 21 and over, and they wouldn't let like the youth into shows, and there was bars pertaining at the small clubs punk shows were at. So if you were too young, they put an X on your head so you can't drink. And then bands like Minor Threat, like I might be an adult, but I'm a minor at heart, you know, people started putting X's on their own hands. And it became a symbol of like, you know, you're embracing the X.
Yeah.
You know, like you know, the bold song Nailed to the X, and the X became a common denominator.
Where it's almost like, you know, like before maybe people were doing that, it almost feels like you're being outed because you have X's
now it's
on
like
your
a
hands.
solidarity thing, like, yo, I may be 21, but fucking, you know what I mean? And people with X's on their own hands. And then I don't know what's pertaining to the 3 X's. You hear people saying like, oh, it's like no sex, no drugs, no. It's like, does that mean no golf too? Because Ian MacKay says he doesn't play fucking golf. Like, I think just 3 X's or 1 X, 2 X's doesn't look as cool as 3.
Yeah.
Because people say like, oh, are you only kind of because you have 1 X? I'm like,
that's so fucking weird.
Yeah,
like,
only a little bit.
Yeah. Just, you know, the part of where I don't use drugs.
But even with like subcultures, like, you know, it's this pocket. It's not a religion. It's not a cult. It's not a fuck. It's just an idea that certain people to take to certain levels. And the problem with like these cult type things, like a cult type personality, now that speaks for everyone. You know what I mean? So if one person is strange and they're an asshole, then strange people are assholes.
Yo,
if one
well,
person
and like,
is vegan and they're a dick, then all vegans are dicks.
Right. Well,
Not
like,
fair.
I mean, it doesn't really help the cause when you have like straight edge hardcore crews. Like, I don't think it's happening as much now. But like when I was like a little kid,
now if
I would go to hardcore.
Strange anymore. It's
Yeah, they're all selling drugs. But like, I would go to hardcore shows and like watch people punch cigarettes out of people's faces.
That's so ridiculous.
Like they'd be smoking a cigarette outside the show, and like.
But that's a sense of tribalism. Like, those motherfuckers don't do that anywhere but that show, if at all. Like, I've never seen that behavior.
Yeah, they're not going to go to,
but if it didn't happen anywhere except for that.
They're not going to jump people at a bar that are just like...
And they're certainly not doing it alone.
Oh, absolutely.
They have their fucking people behind them that also now are not straight edge anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're trying so fucking hard, you know what I mean? Like, they're sure as hell not going to punch their mom in the face for smoking a cigarette, you know what I mean?
Right, and you know, like...
Oh, my God.
I mean, yeah.
That makes it hard because it, like... Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, just like scenes like that, like, and people being held accountable for the rest of the scene makes it hard to fit in with any particular scene. You know what I mean? I'm a fucking citizen of the world. I like all kinds of things. Like, I don't want to be pertained to like this stereotype, that stereotype. You know, like I'm into all kinds of different shit.
Yeah, and like you were saying earlier, it's just like that's them. This is me.
Yeah.
You know, like they can live their life the way they're gonna live their life, and I'm gonna do what I want to do, and like what they're doing isn't really. I'm not mad that like that person's gonna drink.
I think it's just a youth thing. I think you're trying to find yourself. You want to find your footing in the world. You don't have confidence. You want it. You find confidence in a group of other people that seem that they have it, and like they have it figured out. You know, I know for me, like listening to a lot of early like. When I first, like, getting to all these different subgenres of punk, getting these bands that are, like, quote-unquote straight edge, like, those particular lyrics really, like, spoke to me at that particular point in time and really helped me in a way that I am, like, very indebted for. But, I mean, I think that they're written by people, those songs are written by people the same age as I was at that time.
Yeah.
It was the right thing to hear at the right time for me. And still very nostalgic. But, I mean, I don't know, like, it could have been, it's also a regional thing, right? Like where you're at, like, was there a strong punk scene, or was like Juggalo the punk scene? Like, what was that scene?
Yeah, so like
because it's all like a togetherness. Like, if anything, like, I don't know.
This is like so like Northwest Indiana and like Chicago area.
Like,
there's always
what's the thing?
there's always been like. There's always something like kind of new and different, but like hardcore always prevails. It's always there. Like no matter what's going on in music, hardcore is always still there. It's always relevant. People are always still going to like genuine like hardcore shows where like different subgenres might be popular at the moment, and that really brings in a lot of different people. The other things come and go, but hardcore always stays. And where I'm from, like nu metal is like insanely popular. Like,
yes, I never got in that scene. I've heard you drop some bands like that, talking and passing about music. I never got into. I guess I got into punk rock, then I got into hardcore. I didn't come from like that metal aspect. Like that whole genre, that whole world is it's kind of a foreign world for me.
Yeah. Well, so I feel like those genres, like I heard that type of music and I was seeking it out, like, and I also heard very heavy like death metal and stuff, but I didn't know, like, it was pretty much what I could find. Like because
that was a local scene. That
it was like
subculture.
Well, and even before that, I started listening. Like my first album was Korn Issues in 3rd grade.
That was me too. My sister had like Jonathan Davis posters on her walls. Monkey. She had the poster with them on the lowrider bikes.
And like
leader poster, all that shit.
I just got that because it had like that. It has that like weird doll on the front of it, like the weird voodoo doll. Like that's what grabbed me. I didn't know what was even on the CD.
Right.
Like
that's a different time, right? Like
yeah, and like
that's crazy.
Yeah, where the art, dude, that was so. Yeah, you're buying an album because the art is so dope.
Because maybe now it's like it's all thumbnails still. But I remember, I would like have $10 a week for my allowance, and I'd go buy a CD and a patch, and then the $1 I'd buy McDonald's with. Like it was like, and sometimes I'd buy a CD of a band I just saw on a lot of punks back patches, and I'm like, what's that Narcoleptic Youth thing? That must be the thing. I bought that thing. Ooh, this can be my thing.
Yeah, I think like okay, so like the edgier like kids that like when I was growing, I guess that's probably where I got it, is like. When I'm like, I seen all my like friends, older brothers and sisters and things like that wearing like Slipknot and Korn and System of a Down shirts and like Mudvayne and stuff like that, and
they're juggalos.
So like then like that's like I think that's like really how I like found it. But like when I was in like 6th grade, I probably said like 47 too many times. It's cool. All right, but when I was in 6th grade, I still hadn't heard very heavy music. Like in my mind, Korn wasn't heavy. It was just weird.
Right.
And I went to a friend's house. We skated together a lot. I'm in 6th grade. His mom would just buy him CDs. Like he had stacks of CDs everywhere. He kind of was like a little bit spoiled, I would say. And like he had all these CDs he didn't listen to, and he's like, "Hey, you want to?" Right, yeah, and he's like literally every genre. He's like, "Hey, you want to listen to this?" And like put Slipknot on. And he's like, "Yeah, these guys suck. I hate this." I'm like, all right. Well, like I'd never heard them.
Are they from India?
Slipknot's from Iowa. But like I had never heard them, and I seen the album cover. I'm like, those guys look really cool. And also like he was like, and I also liked the way it sounded. It was like so aggressive, and from earlier on, like what I was telling you about how I'd heard like death metal and punk. That was sort of like the heaviest thing I'd found. And then I went out and bought a Slipknot album. I like was buying shirts, and then soon enough I lost all my friends because I was wearing Slipknot shirts, and I was in 6th grade, and nobody was like, they're like, "You're weird. You're a goth kid."
But isn't that like an obtainable scene? Like,
and not in 6th grade. Everybody's trying to fit in, man. Yeah. And then like, I mean, once you like get into like high school, I think it was like a little bit different, but I've always been the weird kid within the weird kid group anyways.
So with that being said, like coming, like being out here, like now you're like located out in California right now, like I guess you're grown up, so it's different, but is it overwhelming in how many subcultures and scenes there are compared, like maybe it would make more difference back then, but like you only have so many pockets in that small town. You come somewhere like here, it's like there's just like almost too much.
Right. Yeah, I don't really, at this point, I honestly just don't really pay attention to it. Like, yeah, I'm like listening to heavy music or whatever I feel like listening to, and not really, like my favorite band right now is Behemoth.
Okay.
And they were just here, and I really, really wanted to go to that. I didn't because I was working.
So you still listen to a lot of metal then?
Yeah, I still listen. Like, fuck this chair. But no, I love everything now. Though I used to hate hardcore. Like, because I was like, okay, so first I was like Slipknot era, and then after that I got
hardcore became your punk. It was the next more like you had to seek it out thing.
So yeah. So like I Slipknot, and I still love a lot of new metal, but like typically jamming heavier stuff. But after like my like going like getting into new metal and listening to that, I found like death metal. Like I finally found it because of YouTube. Yeah, I finally found like. And I found like these bands like Psyopus and See You Next Tuesday, and they're not death metal bands. They're like grind noise, I don't know what you want. It's like spaz bands essentially. And like I was finding these bands and like bands like the Faceless and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then I got into like technical death metal. And then I've been on that since ever. That's like primarily what I listen to at this point is like bands like the Contortionists, the Faceless, and now, but though, so at that point, so where I'm going with this is like I got way into music being like so technical. Like if it wasn't impossible to play and you couldn't understand if you could understand what they were saying, like
wasn't good.
I was like, that's garbage, that's fucking trash.
So that,
and then like so as I got older, I kind of got sick of like the intensity of it, and then like Terror was the first band like to get me into hardcore.
Okay.
Because like before that I was like I didn't appreciate hardcore because I felt like it was like if you cared about the music you were writing, it would be technical. Like you would put more time and effort into writing that song instead of just making it like sound like good and
like
riffy.
kind of
And like that was like my snobbiness, like me being like, no, that's not good enough because like as a writer, like somebody who writes music and plays music, I'm like, you wrote that, you could like I could write that in 5 minutes. I don't even play a guitar.
Right.
Like, and that's how I was thinking at the time when I was like 15. And then, after a while, Terror and Trapped Under Ice got me into hardcore. And it was like, I finally understood it wasn't really about that. It's just like about the way it makes you feel. Yeah. It wasn't about like, what's like,
Trapped Under Ice really slows down for you. Like that's really like, stay cold, homie.
Yeah, dude.
Let me get one of these apple juice.
Actually, I have a Trapped Under Ice tattoo.
Which one you got?
I have Stay Cold.
Where's my apple juice at? Oh.
I have Stay Cold on my hand. It fell out, obviously, and that's an iced over heart.
Ooh, cold. I seen him play a couple times. Last time I saw him was like Sound and Fury 2009.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I seen them on tour with like Backtrack and
Backtrack's dope.
Dude, it was dope, and like the pit was wild.
Yeah.
I pierced, and then funny thing, this girl got her nose broke there. And she was like standing on the outside of the pit, and like somebody just rocked her. I don't know that it was intentional. Probably was, but like I mean, if we're being real, and a few like months later, I pierced her nose.
And broken nose.
Yeah.
Was her nose still kind of like wonk?
No, I didn't notice anything. Yeah, but.
So how'd you get into playing music? Let's segue into music from there.
Yeah, man. So I love Slipknot, and of course I love Joey Jordison because I love Slipknot, and I was like, this dude's fucking dope, and I want to do the things that he is doing.
Right.
And so funny thing about me playing drums is I felt like I wanted to be in a band and I wanted to play an instrument, but I was too scared to be on like the front of the stage. Okay, like I honestly wanted to be a vocalist, but like. Right. I was too, and I didn't like guitar. I just didn't like the way it felt in my hands and all that stuff.
Well, drums are carrying on like the pressure of the whole
song.
Right.
So like then later on, I'm learning like if I mess up, everybody messes up. Yeah, and but then like, but I was here and I was in it, and I was like, well, now I have to get good at it, and I spent like at least 3 years playing like 6 to 8 hours a day, and like totally blowing off my friends, and like, you know, from like the time I was 13 to the time I was 16, and then. From there on, I was like in bands and.
So being in the Midwest, is it easy to kind of have band practice out here? It's like you have neighbors so close. It's like you have to find the one homie living on the outskirts, or like get in and be done by 4. Like how is it from where you're from?
So like.
Because you just jam on your drums 6 hours and no one's bitching. Like.
Yeah, man, it was in a garage.
Right.
Like the thing about it is like you live in these communities where, I mean, it's your homework to go home. I was in band class. So it was my homework to go home and learn my instrument. Right. So there's other kids down the street playing saxophone all day, pissing off everybody because it's like, like, you know, they're like Squidwarding the whole thing, right. Like whatever. But he plays a clarinet. I was wrong, but so I think because of that, and it's just like, you know, as long as you stop before noise ordinance, nobody really cares. When I ran into issues, like noise ordinance starts around like 9 p.m. typically. Oh, shit. So you could be as like, yeah, and like if there's.
Did you live near those spread out, or is it kind of a tight knitted like little neighborhood?
I would say it's like, I mean, it's just like your traditional like if you ever, it's like if you ever watched
I think Big Yards.
Like Boy Meets World or like Home Improvement and like stuff like that, like.
But Home Improvement, he had like Wilson right over the fucking back.
Yeah, no, I mean like you have a yard, but you still like there's
not too different then. It wasn't like huge properties like.
Yeah, I mean, like you might live on like a third of an acre, or like.
Pretty good.
I mean, like my yard would be like the size of your shop.
Okay.
Like this and the whole.
Oh yeah, okay.
Like this whole thing with like the parking lot and the house would be like in the middle of that.
Okay.
You know, and then like your neighbor might.
You always pretty drowned out by the garage.
My garage was always open, dude.
Sick.
Yeah. It was always good. And me and my friends used to do this like. So this is super like pretty straight edge of us, honestly. But we used to throw these parties called like, because we were like kind of rebelling against our parents thinking we were always using drugs, and like so we started throwing Mountain Dew fests. And like your fee to get in was like bringing Mountain Dew. It could be a 1-2 liter, it could be like whatever you wanted. So like dude, all these kids from like high school were showing up with like countless amounts of 2 liters. Like we would have like seriously like I mean,
but
like
it was all for you. That was the admission fee. Like you were stocked up.
No,
or
so it's for the whole party.
Oh.
So like we'd have 70 kids from our high
extras and shit.
Yeah, we'd have like because people would want to be like I brought the most Mountain Dew, dude. And because we wanted to like be like fuck the parents, like we're gonna still have fun and like we're gonna fucking just drink a shitload of Mountain Dew and fucking play metal. Yeah, right. And so what we did we always had like chugging contests. So like anybody and everybody who wanted to could do it, like wanted to do it could do it, and we would you get a fucking garbage can, put it in the middle of the room while like metal bands are playing, and then we'd stop, and we put the garbage can in the middle of the room, and you would have like 15 kids seeing who could finish the 2 liter the fastest. And not only did we have like you won if you finished first, but there was also a puking contest because you immediately that's where the garbage can comes in. So like whoever gets the gnarliest puke, and then you don't win anything besides like, you know, it was just like a graduating class of like 100 kids. So you go to high school, like you go back to school and everybody knows like, oh, that person won the puking contest. That was dope. And like we also started doing like stunts there. Like we had like this kid like ran out and got hit by a car on purpose.
Well,
okay. And like
I was like the dude. Maybe it was the dude.
And so like and we had like and then like the chugging contest and like you just fucking puke spraying out of kids' noses and shit. And like
so that whole scene, that music,
and like, that was just like our garage. That was our garage from my high school.
But that's what fueled the stunt to get the stunts moving.
For me, dude, like my whole life, like honestly, like I watched Mary Poppins and I jumped off my roof immediately, ran outside, grabbed an umbrella, and jumped off my roof with it.
Damn.
Didn't work.
What did you jump into? Nothing? Or
I just jumped off my roof into the grass. Yeah, and I'm like maybe 9 years old, and then my friends and I used to like between like 8 to like 12, like we just build sketchy ramps and jump in my backyard all the time. Yeah. This is pretty mean, but like I was like 8 and I just didn't care and think about it. It was just funny and sucked. But we used to like throw fireworks, like take a Roman candle and light it and stuff it upside down into a beehive. Oh. And then like wait. And then once the bees come out, we'd run all over the yard and get like stung all summer long, dude. And like, yeah, right. And
sugar,
like,
dude, I'm telling you.
Yeah, so like that was like us like before the Mountain Dew Fest stuff. But I'm just giving you like segue into how stunts like really like. And then I was skateboarding from like the time I was 8 years old till.
So it's always kind of
forever.
a part of you.
Yeah, just like I was just always doing like silly shit.
How'd that translate into like adulthood? Was there a time where it tapered off? You went to the workforce, or were you kind of always?
I just lost friends because I kept doing it, and they were like, they were just getting like they were just getting over it. Crazy. And you know, like when I found everybody in Too Stupid to Die, I really felt at home because I was like, yo, none of my friends like they're all into like just smoking weed all the time, or they have kids, or they're doing both of those things.
You can still be kids and still be silly and still drink.
Yeah, man. Like I'm still like, this is still fun for me. Like I still want to like skate off trucks and like do whatever we're doing in Too Stupid to Die and write funny stuff and just be you know, always be a kid. You know, that's really what this is about.
And I think also like, you know, with being a body piercer, how did you get into that like, I feel like, for example, I don't know how young you got into this career, but like, I feel like people who especially get into like body piercing or tattooing right out the gate, they don't really, not only do they not have a chance to grow up, but they don't really need to. Like, you look at like a 50-year-old tattooer and they're just as relevant as that 18-year-old kid because they've been with the trends forever because they tattoo 18-year-old kids forever.
Right.
So, like, did that industry help you kind of stay young, or how and when did you get into that?
Well, so like I never had any intentions of growing up.
Yeah.
Like at this one time when I was like younger, I like had this like weird, and it seems like it's not really an epiphany, but it was for me. And I was like, yo, I saw my friend, we're walking out of a grocery store. I'm like, you realize we could literally do anything we want in the world. We might go to jail for it. It might hurt us, but we could literally do whatever we want. And he's just like, yeah. I'm like, no, I don't think you understand. Like we're sitting here like being built into like limitations by choice.
The world is yours.
We could do whatever we want and be whoever we want for as long as we can. So anyways, piercing, I had a friend in high school. Her name is X, because her name was Christine Xmas.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's sort of whatever. But her older sister used to call her that. Whatever. So she ordered a bunch of piercing needles off of eBay. Like you get 500 pre-sterilized needles for like $20 on eBay, and we were piercing people like from the time I started piercing people when I was like 14 for free. Sick. Okay, so even before that, let's like take a step back. I
got some stories like that too.
So yeah, I mean everybody does, and it's really funny. Those are the best stories.
As a grown up, I look back at that like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And I realized like the same thing I was doing.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like I can't hate it, but I can't love it.
Right.
I can definitely advise against it. But so this is funny. All right. So my parents were split up for a little bit, and my mom took me to go get my ears pierced, and you know, Dad has like more traditional beliefs. I had both my ears pierced. I show up and he's like, that means you're gay. You have to take that out. And like, so he made me pull my right ear piercing out. I was like 9. And like, so a few years, like I have my left one and I started stretching it, dude. By the time I was 12, I had a 6 gauge.
Were you just putting random things in there, or was it naturally?
No, there was a head shop that was selling me tapers.
Wow.
Like that they blew out of glass that they were making pipe.
Them,
yeah, Greenfields.
Got the crack pipe in the ear.
Yeah, so like I was using tapers and whatever. I mean, at certain points, I'm sure I was using whatever, like a screw or, you know, like nails and whatever I could really stuff in there. But so by the time I'm like 12 or 13, I have like a 6 gauge left earlobe piercing with a like acrylic neon green CBR with a neon like orange bead. Sick. And I'm at my friend Nick's house. I'm like I said, like now the first ear piercings were like 9. Kept the left one. Now it's like a few years later. I'm like,
what's your dad think of this?
12 or 13.
I mean, not a phase. You still have
yeah, but like that's like 12 or 13, and I'm like sitting there at his kitchen table. I'm like, fuck my dad, and I take like a toothpick and then pierce my ear with it.
Like a wooden toothpick.
Yeah, and then I start. Actually, I think it was one of those swords. Like one
sick.
of the pirate swords. And I pierced my ear with that, and then then I shove a bunch more through to make it match like to the same size as like.
So you put one that you kind of jam like.
I pierced it and then just kept shoving more in.
Next to it in the same hole? Whoa.
Yeah, and to make it match the other side. And then I clipped the ends off, put rubber bands around it, let them stay in there for like 3.
Yours are pretty even.
2 or 3 weeks.
That one looks a little healthier though.
This one is healthier. This is the
one
I did.
That's the sword one. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one I pierced with a little pirate sword. But yeah, so and then I healed it up, and then when I got another neon green and orange CBR, and
it's crazy how resilient like earlobes are. What we could do to this. You can't get away with that on your nose. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, dude.
On a nipple.
Could you imagine if you like pierced your nose with a pirate sword?
Earlobes, you can do like. Oh my god, you read the old National Geographic things and their aftercare methods, what they're doing to their earlobes, and it's like, whoa, you know what I mean? It doesn't work on a lot of body parts like that. It's just such a vascular part of your body. You can get away with a lot of horrible things to it.
So that was like my intro to piercing.
Right.
And then I was piercing people. I had this girl that I had a huge crush on ask me to pierce her nipples. And I was like...
What age is this? Don't just go... Never mind.
I was a teenager. I was a teenager, and we're like high school. And I'm like, cool... I will definitely do that. But I'm like not doing it in any way that was like pervy. No, this was like it was on the bathroom floor of a breakfast restaurant, like a Denny's, and like I didn't want her to pass out, so like
just lay down.
I had her lay down, and I couldn't like I didn't know like I couldn't figure it out, so I'm dude, and I'm like so into her. I'm like, I couldn't even believe like this girl was like naked in front of me. It was just like, you know, like me being like my age then, like now don't give a fuck about boobs, but like,
right.
I mean, boobs are cool, but I just don't like what I've
it's not more of a shake like that.
Yeah. So like I was like just like I can't fuck it and whatever, dude. And I pierced her nipples and that was cool. And then like I pierced another girl's nipples in the fucking bathroom at my high school, dude.
Damn, on the floor again?
No, that was standing up, and she
Whoa.
ripped it out on her fucking.
Was it super shallow? Like you didn't get it?
Yeah, dude, probably not. Yeah, it's
Crazy
probably shallow. And yeah, I just pierced a bunch of friends through high school, and then I was like.
Little nippy hustle.
Well, I wasn't making money. Yeah, I was just getting tits out of it, man.
Yeah.
And then after that, I really needed some money, and my friends Jeremiah and Jess were working at this studio called No Regrets.
Pause. The GoPro died, and it is recording now. We're rolling again. Sorry for that impromptu accidental commercial break.
Hey, I mean every podcast has one though. Like they're like, hey, no commercial break, and it plays some like cheesy music for like 15 seconds, and comes back.
You had there?
Yeah, dude. But yeah. So, anyways, my friends.
Being a teenager piercing.
Yeah. So like, finished up being a teenager. Then I got a place and needed a job, and I've been, like piercing, and people knew that. And yeah, so my friends Jeremiah and Jess were
did he let you ride in like out the gate, just figuring out, fuck around, find out? Any apprenticeship?
Yeah, so I did an apprenticeship under my friend Jessica.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, it wasn't like an amazing studio or anything, but I think a lot of people have that, like where you're not like, it's not the best and whatever, but I was super grateful for it. And yeah, so it got me in, and I was able to pay actually the apprenticeship I wasn't getting paid like at all.
Right.
And so it didn't really help me initially, but it helped me a lot in the long run in a lot of ways that I didn't really ever see piercing helping me at all. Yeah. Like as far as like so super thankful for like Jessica and Jeremiah. They're super great people and some of my best friends in the world. Shout out to them. But yeah, so did that. The guy who owned that place was like spent like 20 years in prison for like selling coke and killing people. And I feel like a lot of people can relate
to
yeah, like
mentor, similar story.
Yeah, just like being involved in situations like that. And I was super excited to get out of there. And then after that, I ended up working at this place, the Tattoo Lady. And
it was called the Tattoo Lady.
Yeah, dude, and I loved it. I thought it was like
a cool name.
So like, and I thought it was because like. I thought it was sort of like a freak show, like sideshow carny type thing, and the reason is just because the owner Kelly, super sweet, amazing lady. She's a tattoo lady. She does tattoos. Yeah, and so people were they were just like, why don't you just call it the Tattoo Lady?
I like that a lot.
Yeah,
it's even cooler.
Yeah, and the studio's rad. It has like these. And Kelly's a super sweet lady, super great. It's in Hammond, Indiana, and everybody there is like they're all solid artists. But yeah, the studio is awesome. Like it has like Tattoo Lady, even in like kind of like traditional tattoo, like what looks like in orange looks like carnival font, honestly.
Like the pipe lettering sort of.
Yeah, and then like wooden flames in front, dude. And it's so cool. But it's dope. And then. Yeah, I was there for like 2 years, and then that's like when I was going to conference and stuff like that. But like, yeah, they paid for my conference, dude. Whoa. They helped me out so much.
What? I think I remember you telling me that you were from a small town. You said they were paying for you to come out. That's cool.
Yeah, they actually came with me. It was like my first time flying. They made sure.
Did I meet her? Someone?
I don't know. I don't think so.
You introduced me to someone who was.
Oh yeah, they maybe came in for like 1 second. They were just like, hey, they were sort of checking in on me. I think it was Dusty. I think it was her husband.
And he was like a normal guy. He wasn't a piercer.
Yeah, no. Yeah,
I remember this.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, he came in for a second just to like. It was him and his friend, our friend Peanut.
Okay.
And
Dusty.
Yeah, it was Dusty and Peanut, and they just came up and like.
I wrote Dusty as a graffiti name after I got arrested the first time for graffiti for a little bit. So shout out to Dusty.
Dope. But yeah, so then like segue to, I eventually, because I'd always been interested in body suspension, through body piercing, I was able to connect with those people, I think, a lot more easily than being outside of the industry.
Kind of in that scene.
Yeah, and my first body suspension was in the desert at APP.
Oh, you woke up early to go.
Dude, and we stayed up all night, like, waiting on people to get there.
I remember it was going to happen, and it was like, you guys were going up, like, at 4 or 5 a.m. You want to go? And it was, like, 2 a.m. I'm like, I'm going to bed, dog.
Yeah.
I'm going to go.
Yeah, dude.
Is that when, like, Nico branded himself? Or was that different?
Yeah, I was there for that. Yeah, okay. That was intense, for sure.
Was that the year you got this, or that was...
I got my... Dude, that week I suspended, had my face branded, and I have them removed, but I had Steve Hayworth do... spine-shaped subdermal implants.
Stuff happen? Are you gonna do something with it?
No, it was just like my arm was already black.
Okay.
And then we just threw the implants under it, like, to make it more interesting.
I do remember that.
And then I pulled them like 2 years later because I started to do stunts, and I was doing first I was actually doing like MMA stuff, like jiu-jitsu and kickboxing classes. Right. So I pulled them to avoid like nerve and muscle damage.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyways, so back to body suspension.
Right.
Rewind. So through this, I ended up meeting a lot of people, and people are seeing, like, so I suspended in the desert, and I posted that on the internet, and then somebody, John O'Donnell, like, films it and makes like a video and puts it on YouTube, and so like, it was heavily documented at that point, and then I suspended a few more times, and everybody in Indiana was sort of like, oh, he's the guy who does body suspension, at least in my area. And so I can't say everybody, but it felt like I was being...
You're the closest thing to get to that guy.
Yeah. And so fast forward to Too Stupid to Die. Before that was Too Stupid to Die, Zach wanted to do a body suspension, and he knew...
From Indiana, he reached out to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was like... So many people say that, like, dude, I've always wanted to suspend. Like, you know, I've always been kind of scared, but you seem like the person, like, you think you could set that up? And I'm like, yeah. And then, like, I'll put it together and whatever. And like, the Dake shows up, like for the, luckily I always do it with like public events. Dake shows up like, hey, I got a taco to eat.
Man, with all the rigging and stuff, that seems like a hard cancellation to take.
Yeah. Well, like, that's what I'm saying. Thankfully, I only do it with public events with people that are like, not like solid on. But Zach. So, anyways,
what do you mean by public events?
It's like public suspension events. So they're like they'll host it at like wherever.
Yeah, tattoo convention sort of thing.
No. It's like will be like the ones that I go to are at they're at Wasted Youth and PMA Piercing in Romeoville.
Okay, I've heard of PMA.
Yeah, and their studio is located in like an industrial park. So they have a warehouse behind their studio,
so they have a whole like convention set for that.
They have like a whole warehouse that they commit to suspension. Whoa. Yeah, dude, and they run this event every year called Disgrace Giving. Okay. It's a Thanksgiving event with like potluck and like a fundraiser, and everybody brings like meals, and people suspend all day. But anyways, back to it being a public event. So I always book public events, like book people on public events, because if they cancel, it doesn't matter because 10 people are going to suspend that day anyways. So if it's sort of like, they weren't getting, it wasn't a private thing.
I assumed like they were like, I want to go out to this field and suspend from this tree, and you hook everything up. They're like, later, dog. Like, what?
Oh yeah. So breaking down what public actually means.
That makes
public
sense.
Just means that it's, hey, we're doing, like, they'll be like, hey, we're going to do suspensions at this location. What I'm going to use random, like November 30th. It's 110 starting, so and then Zach, people just show up.
Did Zach do his first one?
So Zach hit me up about suspension. I was like, fuck yeah. But I was like, are you like serious though? Like, do you really want to do this? And he's like, yeah, man, 110%. And so I set him up with some friends in Ohio, and I drove 3.5 hours south to like Decatur, like the day after Christmas. Or actually it was before this, dude.
It was cold out there.
Yeah, dude, it's super cold.
Was it indoor,
so it's Indiana, and it was indoor. So anyways, I set Zach up I spent the weekend with Zach. We do body suspension, and then after that, he started to like post videos and stuff. He was starting to post like stunt videos all the time, and I pretty much like pestered my way into Too Stupid to Die. I was just like, hey man, that was really cool.
Remember me?
Remember that weekend? That was really great. You should let me come film with you. It'd be so much fun. And he'd like kind of ignore it. And then one day he messages me and he's like, hey man, me and the crew of Too Stupid to Die, and this time it's just him and Megan.
Was it called Too Stupid to Die at that time?
Yeah, this is new. They had been in a crew earlier, they were like 14, 15 years old, called Laugh or Die.
When the getting was good, when things were already happening.
A little bit. Yeah, because like it wasn't necessarily, it hadn't really popped off in that way, like with TV yet. It was still like, we were still YouTube, Facebook based.
Okay.
But yeah, Zach messages me and he's like, hey man, we've been thinking about it and we'd like you to come out. When can you get here? And I showed up like the day after Christmas, like, cause it was like the week of like the holiday.
Mm-hmm.
And I stayed at his house with him and his dad in their like 2-bedroom apartment for like 3 months.
So did you plan on that long of a stay? Or?
I just went there and I was like, I'm gonna just show him that like I'm in this, dude. Like I don't want to do anything else. And what we also like.
Did you separatize the shop you already had beforehand, or how did? It seems like such a crazy like I'm going no how did that work out?
So like okay, so I was at Tattoo Lady for like 2 years. Then I pierced at Virtue and Vice for a year in Atlanta, and then after that I guested for like 8 months. I did like 8 months of guest piercing, traveling the country, piercing all over the country, and then after I did that, kind of just like I went home and like tried to work at a few studios out there. It wasn't really working. And I was sort of like fed up with like working for anybody. And this is kind of like what brought back stunts for them and like for Zach. I don't know like everybody's real story, but for me and like Zach and we were all just sort of fed up with working under somebody else's thumb, showing up at a certain time, doing anything for anybody else. Right. And so we started doing Too Stupid to Die as a way to like do whatever we want, whenever we want, and make money how we want, you know?
Was there even money in it at that time?
Well, so we were licensing clips. So you would like film, so like we would like
some trendy YouTube channels like, yo, I'll give you a couple $100, you less own the rights to you jumping on.
Yeah. Or like there's different types of licensing where they'll give you like, they would be like 500 if you.
Oh, so they're actually telling you we want this out of you.
Sometimes that too as well.
Whoa.
But they like if they'll like, but we would also film our own stuff because like the stuff they would ask for wouldn't be as extreme, and we wanted it to be like we were trying to make a name for ourselves.
And that money goes a lot farther in the Midwest too, right? Like
yeah. I mean, like rent is like $550 a month.
That's what I'm getting at. Like out here, that's like you're like, what are you gonna do with that? You know, there it's like we can all devise this up, and we're living another month to do it again. Yeah. So anyways, they'd be like 500 if you let this. That's actually not even like the real number, but like it's fair.
Yeah. 500 if you let us. It's actually way less. I'll just tell you. So it'd be like 200 to 300 if you let us own it completely, and 100 if you just let us use it. And so we usually go with the 100. That way we could sell it to multiple platforms.
That paid off now, right?
Yeah, because like, well, if you do multiple platforms, more people see it.
Right.
You don't always make as much money, but like,
and if you just sold it, they'd be the killing right now, and not you. Like they would have more right over your work than.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's some stuff that we don't have rights to. Like there's some stuff that we totally sold. Because like sometimes like that bigger buck.
Has MTV ever tried to like buy it back? Is there anything valuable like that?
They want. I think. I don't know. I don't totally know honestly about those things.
That'd be crazy. Find some old clip in the next episode. Like whoa, shout out to MTV.
Yeah. I mean there is some old clips in like the intro of the show and things like that, but there's nothing that like really has resurfaced. Okay. But yeah, that was like really. It was like. We were like, fuck work. That was like the birth of Too Stupid to Die. It was like, we just wanted to do what we wanted to do.
It's almost like
regardless.
It's like your next venture, your next art venture. Like this is gonna be the thing.
Yeah, and it all came down to us just like not wanting to show up to anywhere and like work for anybody, you know. And that was a pretty amazing time.
That sounds so punk rock, and like what you guys are doing is very punk rock.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And can I like tell a little bit about one scene I saw today?
Yeah, man, go ahead. You can talk about whatever you want.
So they did this scene with like a shovel sled situation? Or
Oh, dude, yeah, so dope.
He got it. So watch the show. It's episode 2, I believe, of season 1, right?
Yeah,
it's
Too Stupid to Love, I think.
Okay, so yeah, it was a pretty short like segment, but they're like trying to like ski on these like shovels. It's really hard to describe. You just have to watch it. But you see him get kind of close, and then you're on this like tire situation, dragged behind something over some barrels or something or other. You have to go watch it, but you fucking landed it. So it was like,
dude, you're just insane because I when
you landed it in a lucky way, because if it was a talented way, it would be like boring. It was just like when everyone was like, "What?" It made me go like, "Oh!" I felt like that sense of like when you see a kid like trying to do a trick over and over again, fine, gets it. Like it had that, even though it wasn't skateboarding and it was shovel skiing, it still had that feeling.
Yeah. Well, like what are the chances? Like we had like 3 or 4 barrels set up, and like we're jumping a ramp that's like flexing in half,
right,
with like skis that are made out of shovels,
yeah,
and like using a tire as a seat. So like the odds of like even landing that were like at all were just like not very probable. The fact that it happened, like I was like shitting my pants scared, honestly. And then
you made it look so easy, you made it look fun.
But
awesome. Like the other people made it look like it was what it was.
Yeah, I mean it's
you got lucky.
Yeah, dude, I can't believe it. And like Damon
was that first try or like
Blazer? Yeah.
Sick.
Well, like I couldn't honestly like okay, so like we did the tire thing because like I couldn't figure out like when they were starting to take off, like I couldn't figure out balance, and I kept like just falling over on my face.
Okay.
And like if we're like, so that wasn't gonna be the shot. Like they're not gonna use that. They want like the jump, and like so you see like Kyler and I think like Tommy, maybe a couple other people like actually standing up and doing it. I just couldn't like find the balance. So me and Damon like we used like a tire.
Okay.
To put down for it. But yeah, that was ridiculous, dude. And like nobody like they everybody eats shit. Like lands right in the way. It's funny, like the way that it was making you fall, everybody's falling directly on their face.
Yeah, I noticed. I saw. I can't remember what it was before, but they looked like they sucked it. They looked like they stuck it almost like they came up. They were pulling back, and they kind of almost manualed across them, almost like whoops. And it's like he's got it, and just like stuck it to the face, scorpion style, to the ground. Like I thought, and I think it was a clip right before you too. And so it kind of gave me this hope, and I thought you for sure weren't gonna get it, and got it. And I think it ended with that scene.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So like with that being said, like so this operation, like I mean, it feels very like DIY with the use of the GoPros and stuff like that. But there is like an overlying like cinematography in the background, lots of uses of drones and things like that. How big is the crew filming you guys? How's the operation even work?
So every morning we wake up at 8.
Really?
Yeah, and we do
even after party mode and kind of like getting up. Okay,
yeah. So yeah. Like and obviously like. Disclaimer: we're always sober while we film. But we drink every.
It's the next morning.
Yeah, the next morning fucking sucks, dude.
Yeah.
But like, we wake up every day at 8 a.m. We go for a jog. We eat a healthy bowl of like oats and eggs.
Get
and
out,
like,
no way.
No
way.
No, dude.
I saw the gym scene in the episode as well, and like it didn't look like you guys liked going for runs.
Oh, maybe it was maybe the episode you're talking about was Too Stupid to Sweat. I'm not sure. I don't know. They're all kind of.
It has to be all jumbled together in your brain.
Yeah, because we did so much.
So what time are you really waking up?
Yeah, no, literally 8 a.m.
Okay.
Like in between, but sometimes we get changed. But we'd wake up at 8, start filming at like 10. But our call time would be 8 in the morning.
Okay.
So that means you have to be up and ready by 8 in the morning, and then you hurry up and wait.
Right.
And then you sit there for 2 hours.
I could have woke up at 10.
Yeah, dude, literally.
This is your hair and makeup and get up right here. You're not doing anything unexpected.
Right.
This is it. You made it.
And Tommy on the show, he's a cast member on the show, and he's like, all day he always be like, I could have slept till now.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, like it'd be like 3 o'clock and we still hadn't done anything.
Right.
Like maybe they only use half the crew for that day.
Is there any like things that are missed in the background? As you have all that time, you guys are revved up, ready to rock and roll. Are you guys doing anything silly that like just wasn't even on the radar of the crew, or are you guys holding it and saving it for the time the cameras are on?
No, man, like if it was like half a crew doing something over here, like I mean, unless we were like really beat from the day before, and this is like, I mean, not like beat from like stunts, we'd probably like be laying down sleeping. But like most of the time we take advantage of the time. And like Chris Rabb from Jackass,
oh shit,
you know, he was one of the camera guys on our show, and he would like come over to the side with us and like help us get like those in-betweener bits.
Right. Okay,
we'd be like,
cool.
and
he'd
make us
GoPro, so you guys could do little tiny.
But like he had like a S8, like a Sony S7 or something that's like $20,000, like a really great camera. So we'd just pull like him or like another camera guy to the side. But it was always more fun to pull Chris to the side because he worked on Jackass and CKY, and
he's not just a camera guy. He has the eye for it.
He did that for a living. I mean, they like pioneered it, and you know, they're the reason it was mainstream and exists. But
it's cool you got him on your side like that.
Dude, it's fucking phenomenal. I couldn't really be more thankful. But yeah, so to the point, as like we'd be like, so half the crew would be filming like the main thing, whatever we're doing today, or at least for the next few hours, and like it maybe be Chris or somebody else, but like we would like just be like, all right, so like we got like these 2 ramps, and we're gonna like there was a bit where like I was just trying to run across like these rocking chairs, like these antique rocking chairs that have like they're like this tall, and I'm trying to like step on the seat of them and step over.
Are they set sideways, so you're kind of going over the arms of them?
No, set this way, so I have to step.
Oh, so it rocks, you go over, and then on the next one. Okay,
yeah, like I'm trying to rock into like almost like a domino effect.
You're rocking
but like, but you gotta like run it at full speed, and like it just wasn't the amount of commitment that like it was.
That sounds like a talented like.
It was really hard to do. It was like, and even falling, like I was still falling, and it just wasn't looking good.
But are you making it past like chair 2? It seems like.
Yeah. It was like because you.
It doesn't sound like.
What you do is you run up. You would like run up, step on the chair, and push it down. Right. And then bring your leg over.
So your foot kind of slides with it.
You're just like I don't know how to put it.
I'd see it.
Anyways,
Sketchy.
So it was on. It is in one. It is in the. I think it was in one of the first 3 episodes. But so there's what Chris suggests. He's like, hey man, how about you guys take these 2 ramps, and he sets them up and pulls them far enough apart to where he's like, there's no way you're gonna make it to the other one. And Tommy puts on like this banana suit and just like goes for it.
BMX bike?
Yeah, on a BMX bike.
I didn't see that. Okay.
Yeah. And
but you didn't show the scene of you running across him, did you?
Oh no, we didn't. That didn't make. It just wasn't. We just weren't getting it, dude.
That sounds. Yeah, it sounds.
It just wasn't like.
That'd be very impressive.
It just wasn't like looking very great. It was like because every time I like run at full speed and then when I'd get there, I'd like slow down. It was like hard to like commit to running across those chairs like as fast as I could. I just couldn't.
I hurry up and wait.
Yeah. So but so he's like Chris had this idea to like set these ramps up and leave the chairs in between, and you've seen it. So like Tommy like eats it into that ramp.
Yeah, you didn't even make it even close. And then the landing ramp is the same size as the takeoff ramp, and it's just like not gonna happen. Yeah. Which is great.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have wanted to made it. I wouldn't be watching that show if that was the goal. I mean, it's the goal, but we want the goal to be unobtainable because it's more funny that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And Chris made that happen, and I can't believe like Tommy's confidence in that was insane. He just like goes for it.
So you're going to Lion's Den. You know you're getting fucked at that point.
Yeah.
But in general, like not to go back too far. I mean, we're going back to the beginning. But when you're going for like the jumping on the thumbtacks, like, do you have to like run around, jog, do some jumping jacks? Do you have to like play some music? How are you gonna get in the headspace to like? I'm gonna jump on these thumbtacks, and this is what's happening.
Word. So anytime I'm doing anything,
it's just built up though. It's in your head for a while.
Yeah. So like that tack thing, for like I wanted to do that for like a year.
Yeah.
But like any stunt, like right before I'm doing it, I'm like, in my head, like now I'm like telling myself like, there is only one way of being successful at this, and I have to do it. I have no other way around it. And I also like am in my head like telling myself like, it's just pain. Like that's all this is. This will be temporary, and it's like, pain lasts for a minute, video lasts forever. Yeah.
It's gonna bring more joy than the temporary hurt to you.
Yeah. You know, and the worst, like, yeah.
And those videos live on forever. You know, we watch clips, Jackass or anything on YouTube or whatever. It could be 10 years old and it's brand new to whoever saw it that moment, and the quality of the video doesn't even matter. It's just like. it's just that moment, that energy, that relatable ouchie
feeling. Yeah.
It just relates to anyone.
Well, and I
language.
think
it transcends ethnicity and borders. Like someone sees you jump on thumbtacks, it's funny, just like a fart's funny. It's gonna always be funny. Like,
dude, farts are super funny.
He has spooky farts on his Spotify.
Yeah.
Boy has it on loop.
Yep, dude, I do. It was so funny. We were in the car and I accidentally put it on.
A couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
There's also another plugging spooky farts here. But there's a whole nother hour long of 1,000 farts.
You said that was your DJ go-to.
Yeah, man. If somebody's like, yo, you want to DJ the car? And they give me the aux cord, just plug in farts, dude.
Yeah, that's good. That's crazy. So with man, so are you still currently filming for the Too Stupid to Die thing? You guys taking a break between seasons? What's happening right now?
So, right now, we're just filming for the gram, bro.
Yeah, you did that stunt was yesterday.
Yeah.
So how actively?
It's so funny because people you couldn't pay me enough to do that, and we're we did that for free.
Yeah, we did it for you to watch. Please watch it.
Yeah, it's just entertaining and you always have haters and shit. People out there you always have haters and shit. People out there
they're watching, they're getting enjoyment out of it. They're just bummed because they're not.
They're not. That's probably it. But there's always people give this asshole attention so he shuts up, or just saying stuff like that, saying that we're doing it for attention. But I was doing this before I was in front of a camera.
Right.
I've gotten seriously injured for no reason without a camera just because I was having a good time.
Right.
So it's that's always a funny thing, but I try not to read into those comments too much.
Yeah, because
it's
then they win, right?
Right, and it's everybody has something to say and they're not in our shoes. Switch that real quick. Put yourself in our position. You would be out there killing, you'd be doing the best you could with whatever you're doing. But yeah, so those things we don't we're just filming it to film it because we are having a good time with it, Yeah. We want other people to watch it and be able to laugh. That's.
But it's such a good regardless of people's opinions of it, it's such a watchable, shareable thing. Regardless, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day if they enjoyed it or disliked it or threw up or laughed or whatever.
Yeah,
it's memorable, it's marketable, and it's gonna keep moving. You know what I mean? I see. It's not ending.
I don't think so. And
the only reason why Jackass things slow down is just because age and injuries.
Right.
And you guys have age on your side, and you're not injured right now.
Yeah, I mean that's not always true.
Keep it moving. But too stupid to die, dude.
Yeah. But and with people that are hating on shit, it's we're still evoking emotion.
Yeah.
And that's cool, man.
That's working.
Yeah, and that's not what we're trying to make people laugh, but if people are getting seeing it and get being shocked by it as well.
Right.
That's cool. And there's been people who told us they won't watch it because it's too gross, or
some of the food stuff's pretty gnarly. I have a hard time with it.
Yeah, what?
I saw, I think it was on Instagram or maybe somewhere, the puke bowl situation.
Oh, dude, the puke helmet? Vomit helmet?
I watched it, but I didn't laugh. I was alone. I didn't tell my wife about it. It was pretty gnarly. It was whoa, that's happening.
So everybody kind of plays with their friends and does crazy shit. Did you ever have a time in your life where you were
Not like that, no.
Doing gnarly shit on skateboards or
we never did throw up stuff, food stuff. Everyone has a weird friend that wants attention that puts mayonnaise and ketchup and mustard and all these weird sauces and eats that.
Or even a time in your life where you maybe pranking your family or your friends more often than not.
It was more I did have this friend. Shout out to Ruben. Ruben's out there somewhere. Ruben was, he would be great for the show. I don't know what he's doing anymore. I think he's cooking now. But I remember we would just, he was the dude that would do anything for attention at any moment at a drop of a dime. And I remember it was very entertaining for us, And I didn't have the internet, so he was the internet. He was the YouTube clip that we saw in real life.
Yeah.
And it wasn't filmed, unfortunately, but I remember one time we were walking home and there was this big rig truck that was parked on the side of the road, and it had the trailer behind it is a full-length trailer, and it's just got this black dust along, you get a dust tag on it, it's thick, you go, whoa, it's that.
I gotcha.
So he ran his tongue along the whole, from the front to the
yes.
back, and he looked over at us, and his tongue had like, I swear it was at least an inch of buildup on his tongue. And there's just shit like that, running naked down the street, you know, jumping off our riffs as well.
Yeah.
But, like, we do
especially if they're like close to pools.
Yeah. It was always also like, it was always the friends. Like,
and with Jackass, dude, I don't know anybody that wasn't doing shopping
everyone
cart shit.
ignored the intro to the show, for sure. And like, everyone's friend who, like, my best friend Raymond, he was the one dude that wasn't the most talented on the skateboard in our little crew. He was the guy jumping off the things to keep up. So it's like, we're afraid to jump off the stair set. He knows he can't land it, but he's going for it anyways.
Yeah, that's fucking me, dude.
Yeah, so I think everyone had that, but I think what you guys did is you guys just didn't stop.
Yeah, I mean...
and like, you guys have such unique personalities that come together to where I think everyone can relate to someone in the crew. You know what I mean? That's important for
absolutely.
Makeup on the show.
Yeah, like everybody's very, like, as much as we like all get along, we're also so very different. Like, we all have like different like aspirations, what we're looking for to get out of the show, what we hope people see in the show, what we personally like are getting from like filming.
What are your aspirations with the show? What do you think long term?
What do I want to do? I just want people to be like I don't have like necessarily long term aspirations. Just like my whole aspiration for the show is hopefully that like people are like scrolling through TV and like they stop and watch that and maybe puts a smile on their face. That's cool. You know, like or like reminds people like, you know, like youth doesn't really ever end until you end that.
That's a noble cause. I like that.
You know, like for me, that's what it's about. And like a lot of us like have like a more positive message for it. But like also sometimes we're doing stuff.
As positive as it gets, I think.
Yeah, and like you know, Megan is really trying to set like be like a positive role model for women in a way of like. Showing like, dude, yeah, she does such crazy shit.
You can be a woman, man.
Yeah,
jumping cars through trailers.
Yeah, and she's like, yeah, I like, you know, she's just trying to show like you can do crazy shit too, and you don't have to be like, you know, like looked at. You shouldn't care what other people think. You should have fun too. Just like because like, you know, when you're a girl that hangs out with a bunch of guys, it's like people, you know, because a lot of girls don't do stuff like what we're doing. Right. So. Not to say that's the only reason Megan hangs out with us, but you know, she's really, I think, trying to work to show people like, and like specifically younger women, like, go have a good time. Right. Like, you can do this, and that's also like another part of it all, you know, where, you know, and like I think, you know, everybody's sort of like strangely inspirational in their own way, and also like maybe not. It all like that's all gets into like everything's subjective. Yeah. Like, you know, somebody's gonna watch us and be like, "This is fucking stupid," and then we also like get people who watch it and like send us messages saying like we saved their lives.
Well, I think the cool thing is that you don't really, like I said, like with it transcending like so many borders, you don't really need to even understand the context to get a laugh out of it. Like, it's a form of comedy that you could be from anywhere. Like everyone thinks it's funny. You know what I mean? It's like, it's the most classic form of comedy. Like, think of the Three Stooges. Think of Charlie Chaplin. Like, people want to see people fall. They want to see people get hurt.
Yo, and that's the thing too. Is like that's one of our biggest influences. Like Three Stooges. Like straight up. Like
that's the original Jackass right there.
Right, dude. And you know, we pulled a lot of like we just pulled a lot of influence from like that show. Just like the way that it was funny was so important to us, and like Monty Python as well. Right. You know, and like even like another thing for us would be like, for me especially when I'm writing, is like like sort of like making cartoons into real life. You know, like that's funny when a cartoon does it, and you'd probably die. So like, let's make that into a human version.
Okay, yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, so you like watch like Roadrunner or like Tom and Jerry and stuff.
Do plays on that, like dress up in silly outfits and get weird.
Yeah. Dude, I have a really funny idea for a bit that I want to do with Zach. So I'll tell you and whatever. Well, actually, I probably shouldn't.
You can save it. You can save it.
Yeah. I can't because
put it in the vault.
If we use it in the second season, like, then I'm like letting the cat out of the bag. But
come on again and talk about it. Remember that one thing? That was the one thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be really funny, man. But we do pull a lot of influence from like cartoons and stuff.
That's cool.
Just making like cartoons real life.
Yeah.
Just without getting smashed with like an anvil. You know?
Yeah. So how has piercing been like in the shadow of that, or that in the shadow of piercing? How is it juggling this like crazy youthful wild times, too stupid to die dealio with like a very formal performance art trade job, relaxing deep breath in, and we're piercing your nostril. How is it like living this dual life, so to speak? Is it because they don't transcend, like what you do in the show does not belong in the piercing studio, what you do in the piercing studio is not entertaining on television. So how do you, what is that like? How are you doing it?
So like honestly, like after I filmed Too Stupid, it was like, and also just doing like the YouTube thing for a long time and doing like that's all I did for a year pretty much. And like then I went into a piercing studio after, and it was kind of like, what do I even do here?
Right. Okay.
Like I'd been piercing for years.
For a long time.
Yeah, and it was just like I'm so used to like when we're filming, it's so used to just being like, let's be crazy, let's be wild, like because that's who we are. That's like
drop a lot just to do that. Like,
yeah, and like it's totally a full commitment, like in every way. Like every day you're just like you're just doing fun. Like you're not thinking about you have no responsibility really. Yeah, and like I mean your biggest responsibility is just like you're just making people laugh every day and like being ridiculous, and
when you get good at it, you just be yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you don't have to really. You just keep. So with the writing aspect of like, is that all you guys? You guys have a team?
Well,
everyone's pitching in.
So yeah, like with the ideas, everybody definitely works on that, but. As far as it transcending into piercing, it just feels weird. It felt so weird. I was just like my hand, everything felt so awkward for like months, and like even like getting back into the frame of mind of like you're at your desk, at your front counter, somebody walks in and like being like, hey, how's it going? How can we help you today? Instead of like being like, yeah, like I'm just like, hey, how's it going? It feels really boring, honestly. Like, not now, but immediately after, I was just like, cool. This is fucking lame, dude. Like, going from such an extravagant, fun life to, like, all right, back to, like, a studio, like, a piercing-only studio, and you're like, hey, yeah, you can, like, literally hear air here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you prefer being in more of a tattoo shop than just a piercing studio?
I think having both is fun. I think a lot more, I dig having a lot of personality around. Yeah. But either way, and like piercing studios, I do really like because everything's geared towards piercing. Yeah. But like doing piercing and tattoo, it's a more fun environment for me.
It seems like piercers really want, because piercing and tattoo have nothing in common other than they're underneath the same roof and they're asked about in the same sentence. But like piercing is its own industry, tattooing is its own industry. But it does seem like a constant battle to break the two apart. And I think in just a piercing studio, it does feel professional, clean, awesome.
Yeah, like everything's geared towards that one thing.
Things up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not like that's not my setting. Being like, so that's like I guess the closest it would be to being tied into it is like I prefer those things together. The only thing that I like about them being apart is like I feel like sometimes you might make a little bit more money in a piercing only studio and people take you more seriously.
I was gonna say also just respect from your colleagues, because tattooers are like, you're just a piercer.
Yeah. Well, luckily in my studio they're like everybody we don't even talk about this stuff. We just like hang out and talk about like
play spooky farts all day.
Play spooky farts and like watch movies and like
that's cool.
You have like talk about like if the earth is flat or not, like like just bogus like
where do you stand on that?
The earth is not fucking flat, dude.
Thank you. You're my people.
It's a round thing. Sir Mix-a-Lot once said, yeah, man. I trust Neil deGrasse Tyson. I'm pretty sure he's fucking smarter than I am, and he says the world.
Just because you don't understand something doesn't mean that it's wrong.
Yeah.
Just beyond you, and maybe it's best to take a step back.
Yeah. Just
take a look. It's round.
Yeah.
Look out the window of the airplane. You'll see the curve.
Yeah. Did you see that?
What?
The Neil deGrasse Tyson thing, where he went
I've seen things with him.
Yeah, he like B.O.B. said the Earth was flat.
Who's that?
Rapper. He's a rapper.
Okay.
And he comes out and he's talking about like how the B.O.B. is saying the Earth is flat, and he's like, listen, and Neil deGrasse Tyson comes out on this talk show, and he's just like, I don't care. People can have all their beliefs and opinions, but once you're somebody like a famous rapper who has power and people are listening to and paying attention to, now you're being harmful.
Right. Yeah.
And that's where this is wrong.
Yeah.
And then he like talks about like perspective and like once you've stood on the shoulders of giants, you like he says all this cool shit and then like mic drops.
Well, so that's
and he's like, that was gravity.
That's cool. I like that. So
yeah,
with that being
dude.
said, like I've never seen this. I don't even want to give it the time and energy that we're giving it now. But with that being said, like I don't know if it has to be a thing if they think this is a thing. This is a weird resurfacing flat Earth thing. But is there globes that are flat? Like do they what do they look at? Is it like a pancake? Like, can I buy a globe that's not a globe?
Dude, we should totally make them.
And then is the solar system like is it all just like that's upstairs?
Dude, I have the best idea. We should make a fucking conspiracy theory store where like all we do is sell like it will be conspiracy theory objects, right? So like you could get like a flat Earth globe or like
that would do so well like here or by Venice where you're working or like in Portland it would kill.
Yeah, I was like, so what are some of like you could buy like Area 51. And it would have like a fucking dead alien inside with like.
I wonder if we're just so out of the know, and this is already something that's been happening for years, and we're just so.
I don't think there's like a store that's carrying like.
Yeah,
exclusively conspiracy theory objects.
All like.
Dude, sock only stores. Those are fucking wild. I seen my first one like 2 months ago.
I saw one today. We walked by one today out in Venice.
I was so like.
And they get licensing for like Star Wars and all kinds of shit. I went to one in Portland a couple years ago, and it was actually really fun. Like it's pretty neat to see the things that could go in socks.
Yeah. I seen a pair of the Clueless socks, and that had me jacked.
I'm like, as much as I like the socks, like I'm not really wearing them. I do have a couple pairs of those like Huff weed socks, which is ironic.
Yeah.
But they're like good socks, you know what I mean? And like I don't know, I think like the weed leaf looks cool. Who doesn't? You've seen it enough times. And I told a friend that I thought the socks were cool. He's like, would you wear them? I'm like, fuck yeah, I'd wear them. And they're really expensive. And he bought me a pair of socks. And a client bought me a couple pairs of socks.
Hell yeah.
So I have a few pairs of those. And then I have, I don't know, a couple like, socks are kind of a fun gift. But I'm just like a plain sock dude.
Yeah.
But I buy my wife whenever I see some silly socks. Like, she's getting some silly socks. It's fun.
Yeah, dude. I'm like exclusively like sports socks. Like breathable stuff.
Action.
Yeah.
Sporty guy.
I guess, man. Like, not really, but really.
So with the thumbtack gig, I feel like this whole thing is about thumbtacks now. But like,
like all you do is live on thumbtack world. Well, like.
How is it healing your feet? This was yesterday?
Yeah, it was yesterday. They're fine though.
Just walk it off.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Like, we've been walking around all day. Like.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't really notice a limp.
Like my ass is more sore than my legs are.
Yeah, you said your ass and your legs. Like, you didn't really mention the feet, and then you said your ass and your legs, and then I asked why, and it turns out that was filmed yesterday, and the feet weren't really addressed. Why the ass and the legs?
Just because I ran at the stunt, like, without tacks on it. I practiced it like 30 times beforehand because I don't skate too heavily anymore. I wanted to make sure I was going to stick that landing because like if not, the shot would have been...
Because it is still a stunt regardless of that. The tack thing is like the last thing that happens. You have to get from the board to the other board.
Right. Like if I can't do that, it's botched.
I almost forget about that because I'm almost like I'm just replaying the end scene of you on the ground more than I am the actual stunt.
You know, my favorite shot is like where my foot is over my leg. Yeah, and my foot's over my leg and I'm sitting up. And like the blood, like there's so much blood just like dripping down my pants, and like my like whole shin was soaked in blood, like it bunched up like that, and I pulled it apart and like dry blood went everywhere, but my pants were soaked like all the way through. And so I know like we've talked about this bit like 3 times now, but I accidentally bought the wrong tacks, so there's totally smooth normal tacks, and the tacks that I got were from the hardware store. And they're like...
They have like a thing to grab?
Like a groove that grab things. So it's
like anchored in. Like a little surface anchor foot anchor.
Yes, dude.
Damn.
Yeah, like I didn't notice. Like I was like, because I had done like a tack stomp before off of like a kitchen table, like
kind of hard to pull off
of a kitchen table, and it sucked, but it wasn't. These were like atrocious to pull out. And I was like really bummed that I didn't get as many tacks in like the other foot. Like I only got like one foot completely full. But like after, but after the fact, I'm like, after I'm pulling them out, I noticed like, oh, these have like burrs on them.
Yeah, because I can see when you pull it out, there is a resistance. Like I thought it was just like thick foot skin. I'm not looking at people pulling tacks out of body parts too often.
Yeah, yeah.
But like I did notice some resistance when you were pulling it out. Like it looked like it was in them.
Yeah. Dude, it sucked so. And like we were supposed to get like a magnet, and we just didn't have time. Like the guy who's helping us film, Vinny, and
that would be okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So like they sell like these big magnets that are like about the size of your palm.
I bought a small one for doing like magnetic implants back in the day. I'm like boom, boom, and like pull the magnet in.
Yeah, dude. So
piercing pop away.
What we usually do with like tack stuff when we were on the show is they bought us this huge magnet, and you just like if you got a bunch of tacks in your back or whatever.
But
they
like,
just run it over, and they
show that. It's not as fun. I think plucking out is a part of.
Well, I mean, in a 1 minute video, I'll say it's fucking painful to pull them all out individually, because like you're pushing when you're.
It would get boring. Like if you are creative,
when you're pulling it out.
How does the viewer want to watch every single one come out, or just a couple?
I think some weird fucking people out there would want to watch every single one come out.
It would take too much airtime. It took about as much airtime as.
Dude, it took me like it probably took me like 40 minutes to pull them all out.
Oh man.
Like, and it was like, because it was like mustering it up to be like, because like in the middle, like while I'm pulling them out, I'm like, can we just please go to Home Depot? And they're like, dude, just get them out. Like, we have things to do.
So the magnet just like boom, come right out.
The magnet, yeah,
if it's not the ones you use.
I think even then, like because the magnets we were using were like 2 inches thick, so they're big, and I think they would have pulled them out. At least this was the thing, when they're all the way pushed into your foot. Like, if they're down like that, you have to push your fingers down around it. Like, you push down around and then pluck them up. So it hurts so bad. Where the magnet is just going to... The magnet is at least going to get them out of your tissue a little bit so you can get your fingers around them instead of digging your fingers down around it and pulling it up.
But so, like, when you're doing a piercing, the exit wound you feel more than the entry wound. So, theoretically, pulling out the tack... That movement wouldn't be so bad. The
exit sucks.
So the magnet would even really help that much. If you
but at least it'd be done over with, like right there.
Less pulling.
Somebody suggested that I put tape on my feet next time and just do it, and then yank the fucking tape off.
That's not a
but
good
that
move,
sounds so goddamn painful.
No, it does. But that's why that's a good bit in itself.
That's the thing. I've done like 3 tack stunts this year. Somebody else can definitely do that.
Has anyone else in the crew done tack stunts? Or
Zach did we did a podcast, and he put a bunch of tacks on a table and palmed them.
All right, Zach's got some more tacks to get down with. It's
yeah.
His job now. You gotta get a new move.
And then Kyler does such gnarly shit. He's like always.
He's got jumped off the roof and stuff.
He jumps off a cliff. Yeah, into like boxes. It's actually like Suicide Rock. It's where a bunch of people actually have killed themselves, and he goes there and like dives off this. So it's like pretty like.
How do you coordinate that? Is he just like, yeah, I think I got this? Or there's no way to prep for that sort of thing, right?
I mean, like he just does it a lot, so I think his body's like always in like that mode. Damn. Yeah.
Crazy.
But so Kyler did a tack stomp where he did a backflip off his car and landed onto a sheet of plywood that's like covered in tacks, and he did that all by himself, and then had to like crawl around and like get all his GoPros and everything, and then sit there and like pull the tacks out of his feet.
So that's the one thing I was wondering about is like I felt like you needed a crew to get down with these things, but like I guess you can be a self-starter like him.
Yeah, I mean like having people helps a whole lot.
I feel like you need some people around to like you need those
and
reactions.
Like well, I mean for me like I was just like I'm always so zoned in on like what I'm doing. Right. Like I have to be like super focused on it because I want it to be great, and I need to like have like I need to be like have that.
Sometimes less people is better than I guess.
Yeah, I need to have like the aerial control.
Right.
Like if I get lost in the air, I'm fucked. So like if I'm flying through the air, like because of like if I get yanked up a ramp or something and like tossed into the air somehow, I need to be able to like I need to be ready for all those things to go wrong.
Right.
You know. And, you know, I think this is also where it gets different than Jackass is that, like, I think, and I kind of said this earlier, but, like, with what I had just said, I think it sort of solidifies what I'm saying a little bit more, is, like, we do just stunts and make sure that like we're ready for how that's gonna go, and like it's a little bit more, I feel like, maybe coordinated where like we're still fucked like half the time I'm just crossing my fingers,
right.
But like where that the stunts are our only skill. Like we actually had this ongoing joke while we were filming where we're such big fuck ups that we made a career out of being fuck ups. Yeah, because like and it's just a joke, like but you know, where like the guys in Jackass, like Bam was a professional skater, Knoxville was a producer, Steve-O was a professional clown. Yeah. Like they had like a skilled background where we just do stunts and aren't really skilled at that at all.
A little more stupid, a little more wild, a little more wild. And I think what I said before, I think, you know, talent gets in the way of the humor anyhow. You know what I mean? That's why I like what I'm seeing so much, what I saw right now today, like when I watch those episodes, is that, again, like, I don't want to see your boy land that move over those chairs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
he trashed, dude. That was so good.
I want to see scorpions. I want to see people go down. But we are running super low on battery, and that already died. So I think we got enough by now. But, like, where can people find you? You have an Instagram?
Yeah, man. So, my Instagram handle is Chadwick_TODIE. Also just Chadwick_2die. And then you could also find our official Instagram page, which is just Too Stupid to Die.
And if you don't,
as well
you can still watch it on MTV right now. On
yeah.
The website.
Yep.
That's a big one right there.
Yeah. So yeah, you could definitely watch the show on cable at any point after it airs. As well as the show airs 9:30, 8:30. 9:30, 8:30 Central on MTV immediately after Ridiculousness every Friday.
Yeah. So check it out on cable or MTV.com. Check it out afterwards for free. Watch a couple little ads, no big deal. It's just like YouTube, but it's on MTV.com. Instagram, Chad. Something. What's it again? Say it one more time.
Oh, my Instagram handle?
Yes.
It's Chadwick_2die.
There you go. And if they want to like somehow fan out, get a photo, and maybe get a piercing, where do they go to do that? Because that can still happen for now, right?
Can't connect those two things.
Okay, not connecting. Don't worry about it. Maybe you'll figure it out. Maybe you won't. Thank you for hanging out. It was a good time.
Hell yeah. Thank you.
I love you, dude. Thank you.
Love you, man.